how do you feel about Republicans' actions on the border? Has it been helping, hurting Americans, taxpayers overall?
Look, there's this intense sense of frustration because we passed things. We passed actually a fairly substantial immigration bill, border security bill, and it will go nowhere in the Senate because of politics. When our Democrat colleagues are willing to admit that the last couple of years have been crushing to the working poor in America, it's a fascinating, and someone should actually do their PhD paper on this. 15 years ago, it was the left that advocated for border policies to not import huge waves of poverty, because that crushed working people in America. And they used to accuse Republicans of wanting an open border for cheap labor. Something happened politically, particularly over the last decade, where that flipped. And there's some really interesting academic papers out there talk about one of the cruelest things you can do to the working poor in your country is import large numbers of other people who are with moderate skill sets. If you need to grow the economy, which we desperately do, you see our labor constraints we have. U.S. fertility rates are now hovering at what, 1.7. So in 18 years, the United States has more deaths than births. We actually have a fertility crisis and demographic issues. You would actually engage in what much of the rest of the industrialized world is doing, which is trying to steal each other's smart people. Whether that be a skilled carpenter or, a physicist. And that requires sort of an adult conversation of what's actually happening in the country demographically, labor supply. But the only way you're going to get to doing a pro-growth, pro-stability immigration piece of legislation is you got to lock down the chaos that is the border. And if you want to see the second degree, third degree effects of open border policies, come to my community, come to Phoenix, Arizona, where I can show you zip codes where the homelessness has doubled. Fentanyl is crashed in price and is everywhere. And parts of these are derivatives, whether you like it or not, of the current Democrats' border policy.